Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life.
That's
Brendo, how are you, man?
well, another morning.
Another morning, and I've just realised that in the morning my garage looks even worse.
Well,
It's-
I'd like to disagree with you, but I can't.
I know, and I've also realised that look at our own faces, and we're starting to look like a couple extras out of Vikings or something. It's what is going on with the beards?
I don't know, but Vikings didn't have trucker caps. So.
Well, I know. I mean, it's rubbish. Like the first scene of Vikings where we got the weak ones got killed.
I haven't seen Vikings.
Yeah, this is okay.
Yeah.
We have some guests. That's why we're up in the morning again.
We do. And my mum's calling me.
Oh, you want to bring her on?
Should I answer it?
Do you want to bring her on?
Just really quickly.
Sure, go
Hang
for it,
on.
guys. Say hello to your mum.
Hello,
Here's
mum.
a question.
Sorry, guys.
Hello.
Not a great signal here.
Oh, she's butt dialed me. All right. Anyway, let's go.
We have Scott and Mallory from Play SHAmmy or just SHAmmy? How are you?
Yeah,
Just from SHAmmy. Hi guys, how are you?
we're doing great.
We're good. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for coming on. That's I'm a Pacific time minimalist, but I'm a Play SHAmmy maximalist, so that's okay. So let's dig into that.
There you go.
You guys are probably one of the first to recognize that families are real things in Bitcoin. And also bringing your own family into this as a whole family. So how has that happened? Can you first of all explain what the game is to people and what you guys do, and then tell us how you decided to bring in the whole family?
Yeah, of course. Do you want me to kick it off?
Yeah, go for it. It's pretty intertwined. So
Yeah, so kind of starts on my side of things when I started becoming interested in Bitcoin kind of late 2017, 2018. And we had been married for a year or two at that time. And obviously, making joint decisions together, being able to invest money in something like that comes together. But Mallory will freely admit it wasn't her interest at the time, but she let me go down that path and start learning. Fast forward to, a year or so, I'm deeper into the Bitcoin side of things. Mallory's going along as much as she could. And, we're starting to think about building our own family and really recognize that there really wasn't much of anything out there for families to be able to learn about Bitcoin together. And so that was kind of the short version of the aha moment for us, where we said, okay, in the future, we're going to want to be able to teach our kids about Bitcoin and financial education in a kind of a low stakes, fun way. And that's where the birth of the game, that was our first product, SHAmmy, came to play. So April of 2020 was the official launch, but really that beginning of 2019 is when the two of us came together, kind of started brainstorming things. And I'll let Mallory take it from here, but that's kind of when her Bitcoin story kind of picks up.
Yeah. I mean, not to repeat Scott, but I would say that Scott on many, dinners was talking about Bitcoin, and I like to just be very transparent and say that I really was not very interested in the beginning. But I went along with it as well as I could. But I think what really started piquing my interest with Bitcoin is once we created the company. And that's because we were able to work together on something, and something that could really impact our kids positively and the kids around the world. And I really liked that idea. And my background is in social work, is in education, is with children. So all of that is all my jam. So that's when I got excited. And I would like to give a shout out to our family who played multiple terrible versions of the first and second and third and all the way to 10 SHAmmy game. It wasn't in the beginning like it is now. So they had to deal with that. But they did.
You had no history of building a game or anything, none of that.
Are you gamers, like tabletop gamers, or?
We like games,
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, but we have no history of creating products, of distribution, of taking anything to market. We do, and what we wanted to do was something physical that brings families together, which is how we ended up doing games. We like playing games with our family and friends. I think there's something nice and tangible around sitting around a table together and, doing something.
Yeah, and extending that, not just the game, but the books and that sort of thing. So it's kind of that sense of family is something that from the beginning was in our minds, and over the past 3 years has really come to life. And it's something we hear back from people who have the games, have the books, have our plush toy, being able to say, this is a fun way to bring Bitcoin into this, because we're able to do it together, not digitally, but sitting around a table or a couch or whatever it is.
So Mallory, at what point did it click for you? Was it in the midst of development of the game itself, or was it before that then made you kind of really go in with Scott?
Yeah, it's an interesting question because I enjoyed working on the creation of the game, and because I enjoyed the idea of it, of what we were going to make. That was interesting to me. But I would say, like, when I really bought in and was like, wow, I think we have something special here, and I think this Bitcoin community is something that I want to be a part of, was when we were at our first time at the Miami conference. What year was that?
2021.
2021. Yeah. We went and we had the smallest little table, and it was just the two of us, and we just had our card game, and we were just there showing people, right? And I don't think we really had expectations of anything, to be quite honest. And the feedback from everyone was so overwhelming and so positive. And they, people would say stuff like, wow, I've never seen mining so simplified before, or like, wow, I can really take this home and do this with my kid, and there's nothing else here that I can take from this conference that my kid will want to play with. And it was during that conference I thought to myself, like, wow, I think we have a good product, and also the people we're meeting are so interesting and they're so like-minded to us. Like, I think this is a community that we want to be a part of.
It's funny, isn't it? When the first face-to-face, well, personally, I thought it was going to be a bit like, obviously I know Brenda, but when we went beyond this, excuse me a second, it's like you're kind of unsure. It's almost like you've said before, like it's your first day at high school or something.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You're like, you're going along and you don't, school, but you don't really know what high school is, and you don't know if the people like you and all that.
Or if you're going to get your head flushed down the toilet.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're there for like 15 minutes and you're having conversations with a complete stranger, and it feels comfortable. You had that same experience, I take it, yeah?
We did, yeah. And it's been like that ever since. The Miami conferences, like maybe not this past year, but the one before that was very large, right? Like almost 30,000 people. And it still felt comfortable. I think that's really hard to find. Like, I don't actually know if I can find that in other areas. So it's something very unique. It says a lot about the people that are in this space.
And I just think anybody who's bringing something that Bitcoiners consider to be new. I mean, like we're podcast number 5 million now, or whatever we are. So it's not new. It's just another thing, and it's what it is. But when somebody brings something that's genuinely new, like a new idea, but just brings that into Bitcoin, like for example, a couple of weeks ago we spoke to a guy who was he's a hairdresser by trade, and he's trying to incorporate Bitcoin into both his business and make a bigger business out of that. And you're thinking, wow, 5 minutes ago I'd never considered that as an idea. But then all of a sudden he's the first guy, or the first musician, or the first whatever to bring Bitcoin in, and people are excited by that because it's new and they can see that Bitcoin's spreading into other things. And I think for you guys, you were probably one of the first to think, well, we need to bring the families in because this is for everyone.
Yeah.
That was really, at the time, the only thing you could really find was the Bitcoin Rabbi had a book that was out.
Yes.
Other than that,
the little Bitcoin
really,
book, is that one?
Yeah, like a welcome to Bitville, or what is money? I think is the name.
I can think of the picture. Yeah,
it's kind of more for the teenage type, maybe 12 and up type thing. But that was really the pretty much the only thing that was out when we started thinking about it. And the nice thing, as we've gone and been lucky enough to be able to be, especially in Miami the past few years, is meeting everybody and then seeing all the other people that are starting to build around the same concept. Because just like with everything else in Bitcoin, we're all doing it together. So we don't necessarily see them as competition, but if we can leverage what everybody's doing, then, we're all going to be stronger for it. And there's been, especially over the past 12 to 18 months, even though while the price has been down, the activity around this sort of stuff has just continued to grow, both in the States and internationally from what we can see.
Can you actually explain the game to me? So I know of the game, but I haven't played the game.
I'll go upstairs. I'll give you home. But go. Oh, sorry, guys. Please.
Like, is it, if there's a short version?
Yeah. We'll do the best. And so there is, for those listening, there is a how to play video, which actually, coincidentally enough, was created by Richard James, who's based in Australia. So Australia connection there. Awesome. Yep, Richard's awesome. So people may have seen his other films on Bitcoin and whatnot. But the short version is it's played similar to the game of memory. So if you can play the game of memory, you can play the game. You need to know zero about Bitcoin going in. We like saying kind of age is good for kind of 4 and 5 on up. Our daughter Charlotte, that you guys met prior to this, just turned 4. Before she turned 4, we'd kind of play a modified version of it where we're just kind of very limited cards. But now she's to the point where she can start playing the real thing. But essentially, what it comes down to is you're learning about Bitcoin mining without even knowing it. And so as we started learning more about the mining topic in general, one of the things that we've done with all of our products is taking complex concepts and boiling them down to simple notions. And so for those that don't know, in mining, at the bare minimum, there's the computers that are trying to guess the different nonces that are going to be able to match the target and create the next hash. So we've created cards, literally playing cards, that identify target and nonces, and players are flipping them over like they're playing the game of memory. As you make those matches, you then mine the next block because the hash matched up, and you earn a Bitcoin reward. And so the goal of the game is to mine from the block height of 0, or the Genesis block, up to the block height of 10. At the end of that, if that's successful, the player with the most Bitcoin rewards wins. But the side part of that is along the way, your chain can get attacked. And so if your attack chain ever got longer than your blockchain, 51% attack, game's over for everyone. That's also showing how the players, Bitcoin is competitive. We're all competing to mine that next block, but it's also collaborative in the sense that, if we don't reach 10, game's over for everybody, and we're all going to lose Bitcoin. And so, especially for one of the things we hear from parents all the time is how, that side notion is, the first time I played, maybe my son is super competitive and he quote unquote lost because he had 2 Bitcoin and I had 6 and my daughter had 3, whatever it is. But then the next time we played, it got attacked and he realized, oh, wait a minute. It doesn't matter if I only had 3. We didn't make it to the end with everybody. We all lose. So that collaboration side of things is another intended and unintended consequence of playing the game, of being able to just kind of teach life lessons unrelated to Bitcoin as well.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, talk to me about the iteration of that idea then, because you don't just have that idea and go, "There's the game." How did that progress between the? Did you have to play each other, or who did you use as the players of the game?
I can imagine, the meme of, is it Charlie Day from Always Sunny, where he's got the crazy eyes and there's the pins of red string where they're trying to break down how the game could work. Maybe we can.
No, we just woke up one day, we made it perfectly, and
now just rolling in the money, right?
Yep.
Oh, how did it start? Well, it started off with
too many. So the iteration that's out there now and everything we do ultimately centers around these monster characters that we created. So we call them our Bitcoin monsters. There's 2 with names, one's Satoshi, one's Hal. Then there's are yet to be named, but those first came alive in the game. And in those first iterations, when we were matching things, we were trying to put too much actual Bitcoin knowledge essentially on the card. So instead of just seeing a character to match, you were saying, block heights and, the number of Bitcoin it's worth and hash rate and just all these things. And, to your question, it was mostly our Mallory's sister and our brother-in-law that were subjected to the testing things out. It was just too complicated, and without images, our brains aren't really, at least our brains, I'll speak for ourselves, aren't really triggered to be able to remember things in that sort of way as a memory game. And so once we got rid of the complexity and boiled it down to these characters and then wrapped everything around it, that was the tipping point. And, it probably took, 9 months.
And then the actual physical creation of the game, how do you go about that? You just go look for a manufacturer? What happens there?
Yeah, also something we had never done. So both of us had never manufactured a product. So we investigated options within the United States as well as international. Ultimately ended up going through Alibaba, which is a very popular manufacturing service, which is also an overwhelming experience the first time you do it.
Oh my goodness, yes.
You just kind of get bombarded and got to figure out what's real, what's not real. And, when you're talking about a game like this, got even more complex because our game is played with cards, but also a dice. And so we weren't working with a standard size card box. And so we had to find one manufacturer for the cards and box, as well as a separate manufacturer for the custom die, because the dice is not just a standard dice, it's a custom image. And then the dice manufacturer has to mail the dice to the card manufacturer and pack everything over there before they ship it to us. And so, yes, it was a wormhole.
Did you physically go?
Crazy.
Did you actually
Was
have
that?
to go to supervise the actual elements of it? Or
No,
you just took it on trust and fingers crossed?
You get pictures and cross your fingers and
Yeah.
pray that any credit card dispute will go your way.
And what sort of, if you don't mind me asking, like what sort of volumes did you have to commit to
500 is usually the minimum.
500? Yeah. Okay. So you're taking a
But it's not a
risk, right?
small amount. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So 500 is the typical minimum for the books or the games over there.
Yeah.
But you now have supplier partners that you work with regularly, and that you've built a relationship over time and stuff.
Yeah. So
Good.
yeah, that's the nice thing. So we've used the same people for the cards and the dice, and they work, they'll ship things back and forth to each other.
Mhm.
The books are a separate manufacturer since they're, find different people. So we had to go through the wormhole again to find the book side of things. We have a baby teether that was also another wormhole that you make sure it's safe, organic, BPA free.
Yeah.
That whole
It's tested
testing,
multiple times.
all that stuff. And then with our latest project, which is our SHAmmys, which was our plush toy.
Cute.
Money for Africa. Completely different manufacturer. So now I guess we have 1, 2,
You have
3.
multiple.
We got 4. No, wait. 1, 2,
I think
3,
5.
5. Because the game has 2 manufacturers over there. So
Yeah.
we're with 5 different people.
So is
I
your
will say
garage?
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, is your garage just full of stuff, or yeah?
So that's the dark drawback of living you guys are Sydney, right?
No.
We're about 4 hours north.
Yeah.
Okay. Living in a city like San Diego, it doesn't leave you with a lot of space because of the cost of living. So
Sure.
we've definitely utilized family members' garages, storage, paying for storage units. That's the only way we can make ends meet.
Yeah.
So is it do you mail out yourselves, or do you drop ship, or how does that work?
We do, yeah. For anybody that goes to our website and purchase, it's the 2 of us. And then often we have our third partner, Charlotte. She will tell you that she has a couple of really important jobs in this business, and we like to keep her involved. I think it's good for her. And one of her important jobs is to undo the shipping label and to stick it on. So when our shipping printer prints it on some sticky paper like a sticker. So we will box all of the orders, every morning from the day before and the night. And then she is in charge of unsticking it and sticking it right in the center. So sometimes they'll be a little off center, but if they do, it's been packed by a 4-year-old with love.
Scarcity, right? You should keep those. They're
Yes.
going to be valuable one day.
Yes, we pack everything ourselves. We also thankfully live pretty close to a post office that we frequent very often, and she often will come along for those post office drops too.
And your products are going predominantly to the States, or are they going all over now, or what's happening?
They go. It's crazy. Predominantly still the States. Obviously, I'd probably say 60 to 65%, domestic. Speaking here in the United States, but they go everywhere. Obviously, shipping cost is the biggest hindrance there. There's not much we can do about that. We do have a handful of resellers, throughout the world that kind of make it easier. There's one up in Canada, a couple in Europe. Happy to have somebody in Australia that's out there. But we ship worldwide. There's actually, just before we got on the call, somebody tagged us in a photo of he was reading his son Goodnight Bitcoin in Lebanon.
Yeah.
It's just like
amazing.
How does that feel? How does that feel?
It's weird. I mean,
It's pretty crazy.
Here's our book that that's the first one we made. To think that it came out of our heads, created it, came here to San Diego, somehow got to them, and I guess we shipped it to Lebanon at some point, and just something that we created is now part of a bedtime routine in a country that we've never stepped foot in.
Wow, that's
Lovely, right?
so cool.
So you want to talk? Well, Brenda has a little idea. I don't know if we've never spoken about this. You have an idea that you're gonna do. It's got nothing to do with Bitcoin, but you're looking at foreign manufacture and all sorts of stuff.
Oh, I have
Oh,
this. You listen to this, going, oh, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I've been looking at potentially the drop shipping route, just to be as hands off as possible. But That's an off pod conversation.
Yeah, no, this is a whole other level. I
Yeah.
was going to say you got consultancy here. You need to call. You need to call.
Happy to answer any questions.
Cool.
So the order of it was the game, then the books, and then where did the toy come in? I can't actually remember.
Yeah, so the game came out April 2020.
Yeah.
Goodnight Bitcoin was our first book, which came out in August of 2021. The Teether came out a few months after that, and then our second book, If You Give a Monster a Bitcoin, came out in September of 2022, and then most recently is our plushie, which just came out in I guess May, so about a month ago, 2 months ago, right before the conference, is when we officially got it in our hands.
I was going to say, because I've seen you talking about that for a while, I guess. So,
Yeah.
but it's literally just only very freshly released. Okay,
I think we probably started talking about it in maybe early April is my guess, kind of doing pre-orders and that sort of thing. And so for those that don't know, we've partnered with the Built with Bitcoin Foundation. And so, one of the questions that Mallory and I would always get, especially at conferences, is, we'd love to have plush toys of your characters. Like, when are you going to do that? Which is great, but we didn't want to just make another plush toy. And so we've worked with Built with Bitcoin for a number of years in various ways. So we know how awesome Yusuf and the team are. And so what we've done is, instead of just creating a plush toy, I know people listening can't see it, but we've taken Satoshi, our character, and he's usually holding a Bitcoin in front of him and many of the images. But in this case, on the coin is the continent of Africa is on there with the Bitcoin symbol in the middle. And so Built with Bitcoin, a lot of the work they do, building schoolhouses and water wells and technology centers and that sort of thing, is first started in Africa in 2016. And so with this project, we are raising funds initially to build on our own an entire water well. And so we need to raise about $7,000 to make that happen. So 21% of the gross sale goes directly to that well. We have just shy of $3,000 after the first couple of months here. And so we're excited to make that happen. And for those that are out there that don't have kids but just want to support it, you can buy them for yourself. Or the other project side part is, we have a gift that we call them SHAmmys, gift to SHAmmy project, where you can just gift one of these to a child in Africa. And so if you go through that on the website, we take care of the shipping and delivery, and it'll get down there. And whether it's just one-off or companies that are out there that want to sponsor a bundle, so you can help the water get built, as well as sending a plush toy down there. And Yusuf delivered the very first ones about a month ago, right before the conference. And, it sounds crazy, but he said, these kids, there's pictures of them that you can see on the website, their faces just light up, because most of the time it's the first time they've literally ever held a plush toy.
Wow.
And they're just ecstatic, and seeing colors and characters like this just bring smiles to their faces that you have to see the pictures to have it do justice.
I mean, it really gives you goosebumps.
Yeah.
He was explaining this color purple. I know people can't hear it, people can't see it, but the plush toy, we took a lot of pride in making it like a very strong quality. And with that, making it very soft, and the color is very bright, because children generally like that. They like those bright colors. But the kids there have often never seen such a bright purple before. So even that to them was like, it was opening their minds in other ways that we hadn't even anticipated. So it was really amazing.
Yeah. So I think to date, we've donated, there's been around 120, 130 or so that are there's about 30 that have actually physically made it down there. But the rest will be going, I think Yusuf's next trip is in August. That'll be delivered to the kids down there, and we'll have more pictures and videos and that sort of thing.
The design of everything looks really good. So is one of either of you two an artist designer, or have you got a friend, a relative? Like, who's done that?
Yeah, that's the one piece that we are not talented at.
Yeah.
We had the idea for the characters originally, for the game, but we worked with an artist. We literally just found on the 99 Designs, which is one of the gig economy's websites. Yeah. And then she did a great job.
Yeah.
And then she helped with the game, and she helped with our first book. And then once we kind of got more well-known and started working on our second book, we said, we want to try to find an actual Bitcoiner to be able to help.
That was my question. Have you converted the artist to Bitcoin yet?
Yeah. So we did a post on Bitcoiner jobs for designers out there. Got a overwhelming amount of responses, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
Ended up going with a woman out of Colombia, actually, who is extremely talented. And so she's helped. She helped with the second book on that side of things, and then she helped clean up the design for the plush doll as well. And so we'll happily keep using her as long as she'll have us.
That's awesome. So that'll not have been, or sorry, that plush toy was at the conference, just in time for the conference.
Yeah, that was
April.
The grand opening of it. It was a crazy fingers crossed timing because it takes so long to get things manufactured. So we actually had to, for that one, we had to rush ship from China over to Miami, which, as you can imagine, rush shipping things from China is not the cheapest endeavor in the world. Sure. And then had the boxes meet us there. We had 150 of them, and we're able to have them, be front and center at our booth.
That's really cool. And now, do you take this round about all of the conferences, or is Miami your main thing just now?
Yeah, so we've been at Miami the past 3 years, and then the biggest dilemma there is just the cost to get around. And so last year we were at Pacific Bitcoin, which is in Los Angeles. We're based in San Diego, so that's about anywhere between a 2 and 5 hour drive, depending on traffic. So we're able to drive up to that one, and we'll be there again in October. But all the other ones, just from a ROI standpoint, and getting our family there, it just doesn't quite pencil out. For all those other ones, but what we like doing, which we do a lot, is just working directly with the conference and having essentially kind of a wholesale type split where we'll send the product. Most of the time they have a merch store, and they'll sell it on our behalf, or we'll find somebody else that we know that has a booth, and they'll sell it on our behalf. So last week in Boston, Massachusetts, there was a very small, I think like 100 people, not even conference, kind of a festival they called it. So Jeremy from Satoshi Journal was selling our stuff. Before that, we had a friend in Prague that was selling at the Prague conference, at the Canadian conference a month ago. So if you're out there, you're putting on small meetups. We have meetups that resell, and are able to generate revenue, or conferences. We're more than happy to send that product to you guys, let you guys sell for us, and be able to generate some cash flow for yourselves as well.
So let me
think of what I'm thinking.
No. I'm just thinking. Oh, you go first.
Well, all I was going to say was, we know the guys at Bitcoin Alive, and we know a lot of the guys at the Bush Bash too. So, and I'm sure that if we can help, or if somebody else is out there wanting to do this, we can make that happen.
No, we're happy to do it. Actually, I talked to the Bitcoin Alive guys right before, and there was another booth that was going to be selling for us, and then at the last minute they decided. Can't remember if they just didn't go at all, or if they weren't going to have their booth anymore, and then it kind of fell through. But between Bitcoin Alive and the Bush Bash, I know Daz goes to that as well.
Yeah,
but the biggest hurdle there, Australia is always one of the most expensive places to send stuff. Yeah, exactly. So it's even with the wholesale cost, trying to figure out a way to break even.
If could you do it direct from manufacturer to Australia what kind of number would make that sensible for you?
So it's that 500 number. So that's
500. Okay.
Yeah, that's the minimum that we have. So once we can get there with some way, that's the most economical way. But yeah, whether it's with you guys or anybody out there listening, we're happy to explore ideas.
We'll have a think about that. We can definitely make that happen. What was I going to say? So part of the reason was I've been aware of you guys for a long time, but we wanted to have you on to just talk about what you do, but also your lovely daughter sent us a picture as part of our kids art competition.
Yes.
So we are doing as you know, the kids art competition where we're going to have 21 entries from 4 different age categories up to 16, so 0 to 4, and you can work out from there. And we're taking donations on Geyser, where we've not decided what it's called yet, fund. And it's Geyser. Okay. But we're now up to a minimum of 210,000 sats winners on each group. There are going to be don't even know if I've said this yet, but there'll also be prizes for everybody else. There'll be
Yes.
a proof of work. We said that.
We have said
There'll
that.
be a proof of work prize for all the other kids that enter too. But along with the entry that your daughter sent in, and it's not influenced our decisions because we're not the judges, but you've made us a kind offer. So do you mind talking people through what you'd like to, you're making a donation. So what would you like to offer?
Yeah, and actually, I don't think I even told Mallory this part, so
Oh, sorry.
I know she'll go along with it. Yeah. So what we do for each of the 4 categories, for each winner, for that lowest category, we'll give the winner a copy of each of our books. So 0 to 4 gets the books, and then for each of the older kids, the winners get a copy of our game. So they'll be able to have that, and then for everybody who enters, we'll be able to find a way to get them a 50% off code for anything they want. And so no matter, put your entry in, you'll get that code no matter what, to be able to grab something from us. And so we're more than happy to support and have Charlotte. She was excited last weekend to draw Hal and Satoshi holding hands.
She really was. Yeah. I mean, she loves and she knows so much about Bitcoin at only 4 years old. So this was like the perfect project for her.
That's so cool. I mean,
she'd be more than happy to talk to you about it.
Yeah. Mighty generous.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yes.
That's really kind of you both or one of you, and good luck after the call, Scott.
No,
that's really kind of you, and the kids will appreciate it. But it's what we're trying to do, and what you guys are obviously have been trying to do for a while now is just, we go along to the, I was on, lone wolf lurking on Twitter, which became a guy who attended a Bitcoin meetup with other, men of my age that look like me. But it has to spread, right? Because it's for everybody, not because we should force it on people, but because it's for everybody. So that's why we decided to do a little thing for a kids competition to try and get families involved, because we know there's plenty of kids out there that hear it all. Mostly their dad, but sometimes their mum just talking about this, right? So we're trying to do something to make it for the family. You guys obviously are too. So we're just spreading a bit wide. What I would say is we've had the entries on the low age group. They're coming in thick and fast now. The 0 to 4 and the 5 to 8. Where are the old ones? Get yourself sorted. We have a few, and what was that 10? What was that 9, 10 to 13?
Yeah.
But the old ones, we don't know where you are. So maybe they're too cool, but they're too cool without sats. So.
And the chances
are low. They don't have a lot of competition either. It could
absolutely right. So
we get one entry in the older age group, and they win. What are we up to? 210,000 sats.
210,000 sats. Yeah, I mean.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we're currently at 1.2 million sats on Geyser Fund, which is good. With how many weeks to go? I don't know.
Well, we didn't say that too. It's going to run until we'll accept entries up until the 31st of July, or when the category has 21 kids in it. So whichever comes first. So the little ones might come sooner than that. So I would encourage people, if you do want to take part, to do so quicker rather than longer. But yeah, the older ones have probably got a little bit more time.
Okay,
it's a great project.
Yeah, well,
it's really fun.
It was my idea, so
it was mine.
No, it wasn't. It was all hat.
It wasn't even my idea. So there's a gentleman called Paul who has a daughter called Pixel who attended a bush bash, who drew a picture while she was there. He then got the picture as a logo on his shirt. He bought the picture from her, got it as a logo on his shirt, and I said, "No, that's a great idea." Got my daughter to draw a picture just to see what she thought of what it was that I was talking about all the time, which I love too. And I was like, "Oh, this is a bigger thing than what we're doing. We need to make this bigger." So, and it's the most fun thing is the prizes are fun and stuff, but the most fun thing is actually for the parents to go, "Oh,
yeah,
that's what they think I am doing,"
Yeah. But, I can see that.
Does your daughter talk to anybody else about this? Like, my dad does this, my mom does this, or what happens there?
She loves talking. I mean, especially since she went to the conference last month. Like, she'll be like, "Oh, I went to." She's behind us. You're welcome to ask her a question.
She's very chatty.
Yeah, as you saw.
So she'll talk to anyone. She's she's good at communicating.
Like, she'll talk to a stranger and be like, literally just, I don't know, like, "Oh, I went to a conference last month.
If you're happy to get her on, and we'll ask her.
Oh yeah, we can bring her in.
Yeah, bring her in.
But this is very Bitcoin is just part of her life. So there's not a separation to her where she thinks like, "Oh, is this person in Bitcoin? Then I can talk to them about Bitcoin," right? Like maybe adults do that. We might kind of screen, is the audience appropriate for us to say something? But kids don't really do that. And Charlotte's known Bitcoin her entire life, at least that she can remember. So for her, she'll just talk to anybody about it because she sees us working on it. She goes to conferences. Like it is very just much ingrained in her every day.
Yeah.
Like, you say hi?
Hey.
Hey.
What's the question?
Well, I would like to ask, this is a really difficult one, so you can change the question if you want to, but I would like to ask, are you a toxic maximalist?
Do you like owning Bitcoin?
Yeah.
You are? Yeah. Okay.
I know I like other stuff too.
What kind of other stuff?
do you like? Like the color pink or something?
Sunny coins.
Shiny
Shiny-
coin. She does
Shiny.
like shiny
Ah, okay. Do you
No.
collect them?
coin better. You can tell them about being at the conference and selling your bracelets.
Yeah, what was that like?
Now you're getting shy.
Okay.
You were talking to us before.
Did you sell a bracelet to some Bitcoiners? Yeah.
Go back in the other room.
Okay. Can I go in the other room?
Well, I didn't wash my hands.
Oh, it's
Do you want to
okay.
talk to them
Oh,
now?
no.
Still talk to them.
That's okay.
Okay. You say bye.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much for your picture. We really appreciate it.
Bye, Charlotte.
Were you selling bracelets for Satoshis, I'm assuming?
Yeah, she was. Yeah, so she had little bracelets that she was selling, and we just had a little sign that said Charlotte. I think it said like Charlotte's bracelets. She had a QR code there for her Lightning wallet, and it was literally just donate whatever.
Yeah.
And she sold out on the first day,
Mhm.
and then
So cool.
every night, for all 3 days, they had to go back, make some more,
Wow.
bring them. She did very well.
Yes, she did.
How much of a cut did you
She
guys
really
take
liked
from
it.
her?
What's that?
How much of a cut did you take from her?
Nothing.
None. They all
It's
sold.
all hers. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah. She really enjoyed it.
You know, she still talks about it. And,
Oh yeah.
every once in a while we'll still see a picture of somebody wearing it.
Yeah.
And she gets all excited and that people are still out there. And she's made a few pen pals from it.
Yeah.
How
So
cool is that?
we're
that's-
definitely not
That's
allowed to go to any conference again without her. She
Yeah.
will. The conference probably won't let us in, and she will not let us leave. So
Well, she's the next Lauren, I guess. Daniel
Yeah.
has been included as his daughter for a long time.
yeah.
And
she was running
but-
around. She was running around with Lauren and Caitlin a lot.
that's
sweet.
We know Daniel. Daniel was actually the first podcast we ever went on in April of 2020.
Yeah.
And so he's a good friend of ours. And yeah, him and Caitlin, or Lauren and Caitlin and Samuel were there running around.
Right. So just to clarify, you've got books, you've got the game, you've got plushies, you've got a teether. Is there anything else sort of in the pipeline, or are you maxed out?
There's we have magnets. It's another fun thing. Every once in a while we'll have clothes. We actually sold out at the conference, and as much as people like them, managing clothes on the website with different sizes and all that stuff for the size we're at is just too much. So
Yeah.
clothes will probably stick to be like a conference thing because we know people want them. That we'll be able to print them off before and go. So that's always out there. And then there's always ideas in our head, but who knows what's next. We love working with other Bitcoin companies, and so have a few things in the works. So, for example, for those that know Crypto Cloaks, the 3D printing company, working with them on being able to utilize our characters for Satoshi on some of their existing products. So we'll have that. So different ideas, just being able to leverage each other's reach, and just like Crypto Cloaks or BTC pins or anybody else out there. We're not paying for marketing. It's literally Twitter. If Twitter's working again tomorrow.
Oh, what happened? Yeah, that's just blown up this morning, isn't it?
What-
Or
what-
Exactly. Probably while you guys were sleeping.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it is.
Please,
yeah.
Scott, you can explain. I don't really know. I've just seen
It's a mess. They've turned it off so you can only view 600 tweets a day.
Oh, that'll screw you over, Hats.
yeah, I'm done by 10.
You literally get them off. So anyways, but yeah, all these companies, whether it's us or these other ones I mentioned or anybody else out there, we're not paying for marketing. So it's just working together, using social media, jumping on podcasts, being at conferences. That's literally how people learn about us. And until we're big enough to be able to take over the world.
Yes.
But it's kind of, there's two parts to that. I think people are realizing that they want to. Firstly, they're really keen on Bitcoin and they want to work with other Bitcoiners, right? That's part of it. But the other side of it is like I think a lot of people are now realizing that, as you just said, it's not competition. Everything you do helps me, and everything I do helps you. And once you work that out, it's like your own greed becomes your biggest, asset in some ways, and everybody else's.
We're never going to set up a 3D print shop. Like, we don't have the space and I don't have the time. So
yeah,
Rick can take care of that side of things. He can
totally
use our images, and we can both win together.
Exactly right. And back to your point, Mallory, like it's it's fun to involve your kids and everything as well, but it's also, you're absolutely right. There's a bigger picture is that your daughter's never going to know anything else.
Mm-hmm.
That's just her normal. You don't have to convince her. It's just her normal.
And even outside of the Bitcoin side of things, she's learning how to build a business and sell things and talk, just being at that conference and literally just standing in front of our table, just talking to strangers. Hey, do you want a bracelet? Like, having no fear. That's bigger than anything else that happened.
Well, she's also got the cute factor. Like, what person's going to walk past and go, no, thanks.
The best part is
quite a lot.
People did.
Quite a lot.
Really?
Yeah, quite
fine.
Well, I actually think it's good.
Heartless
I think it's
people.
good to hear no.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people who stopped and bought bracelets, but I also think the people who just said no, because that's just a reality and that's part of life. Like,
I couldn't do that.
It's cute, but
like, sure, give me 10.
I'm going to say yes to you all day, every day.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
One other question was, have you managed to get to Africa yourselves yet, or is that on the? Is that a plan or?
Oh yeah, it's definitely in the plan. We
Yeah.
definitely want to get down there at some point and go down with Yusuf, and there's other people on the continent that we work with in various ways. So it's definitely on the list. I don't know exactly when. Hopefully, in a perfect world, we'll get the money raised, we'll get the well built, and then be able to go down there and actually see it before we're on to our next project. The idea with the well side of things and this specific toy is, once this well gets built, the plush toy is not going to disappear. We'll find the next project in Africa to fundraise with Yusuf and the team.
Awesome.
But then the other nice part is they do work worldwide. And so the bigger idea is that we'll have a different character for each of the continents that they're working on, so that people can then say, I already helped something in Africa. Next, I want to help something in Southeast Asia or in Peru, or whatever it is, making all those places up. And so then it kind of becomes both a sense of giving, but also, you're collecting all these different ones from around the world.
Yeah, really cool.
World domination. Here we come.
Wow.
Love it. Guys, thank you so much. Can you direct people to either your social profiles if they're still working, website, or wherever else you'd like people to go and have a look, or either to buy a gift for themselves, buy something for a friend, or to donate?
Yeah, of course. So SHAmmory.com is the website, SHAMORY. So that's where you can find all our stuff. And then on social media, we are SHAmmory anywhere. So Twitter, if it's working, Instagram, Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on LinkedIn. Twitter is the most active. We are also on Nostr. I'm not going to read our NPub out, but find us over there if you need to. So that's the company side of things. And then Mallory's the lucky one. She stays off of social media. But I'm also on all the platforms, but you can find me on Twitter, Scott M. Sibley. DMs are open anywhere. So whether it's through the company site, or my personal one, or through the website, or just email, Scott@SHAmmory.com. We're easy to find. Always respond to everything. If for some reason we don't respond, bug again, but we hardly ever miss anything. So, reach out if there's any questions you have, ideas to collaborate. You want to resell things somewhere in the world, you're a conference putting on, anything in between. You want to donate for the well, we're all ears.
Brilliant.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, guys.
You guys enjoy the rest of your weekend.
You too.
Yes, thank you.